Okay, so since it was a short week last week, I have a lot to catch up on. So it's going to be a few minutes. Um, First things first. So grades are finalized tomorrow, and the report cards go out on Friday. So I wanted to give the students an opportunity to make up any unfinished work. I know a lot of them don't really understand the importance of grades this year just because so far, all the way up to last year, everything has been stickers and thumbs up, and it's just all kind of been very abstract to them. And so they don't really understand the importance of a letter grade. And so what I've been finding is a lot of them have been just maybe not even turning work in at all. Or when they do turn work in, it's not complete. And so I wanted to kind of explain our system to you so you understand what they're responsible for. So at the beginning of the year, I gave each of the students a red folder and a green folder. And the red folder is for any unfinished work. So throughout the day, anything that we're working on, as they're completing it, if they're not done with it, it needs to go inside of that red folder. And that's just as a reminder for them that says, hey, I still have this to do. It still needs to be done to the best of my ability before I turn it in. That way, if there's any free time at the end of the day, I always try to schedule some free time. That way, if they've worked hard and they've got all their work done, they have a little reward. Or if they just haven't finished any of their work yet and they need that few extra minutes, they have some time to dedicate towards finishing their work so they don't have homework at the end of the day. So anything in that red folder is their responsibility. The green folder is for once they've finished that, it goes in their green folder, and their green folder is called Ready to Grade. So at the end of the day, when they're checking their mailbox and they're packing up their backpack and they're writing in their planner, they can check that green folder and say, okay, this is all done. It's ready to grade. Let me go turn it into the basket. And so they can take that green folder and unload it into the reading, the math, the science, or the book club basket. And so they can just organize it all. A lot of the students aren't taking the time to check their red folder or to even do it at all. A lot of them are just finishing, two or three problems and then just turning it into the basket. So that is the student's responsibility just because I have 26 kids and there's no way for me to be able to go through every single day and ask, okay, do you have A, B, C, and D ready to turn in the box? So it's a lot of self-start and responsibility on their part. The makeup work that they got today is due tomorrow morning because grades have to be finalized tomorrow afternoon. They cannot receive an A on that work just because it is late, but they will get partial credit. So best case scenario, they get a B, but a B is way better than an F. So if you have any questions or concerns about that, just message me or call me tomorrow at the school. Because report cards are going out on Friday, we do have parent-teacher conferences starting next week. I know that the district has them scheduled for Tuesday and Thursday, but I know that all of us are super busy with work and school and extracurriculars that I like to set my conferences up for the whole week. So starting on Monday all the way through Friday. And so I was going to send home a sign-up sheet today, but I completely forgot. I'm so sorry. Tomorrow in your child's mailbox, there will be a sign-up sheet. If you could please pick 3 times that work best for you. It is first come, first serve, so the sooner you get that paper in, the better chance you have of getting the time that you wanted. If by some chance, it's Friday, I'll send home a paper that says what day and time your conference is scheduled for. If for some reason you have a schedule change or something happens and that time just does not work for you, just call me or message me on Class Dojo and we'll try to reschedule, even if it's before school starts or maybe on my lunch break or even if it's just a telephone conference. We'll work something out and we'll figure it out. So, we do have a field trip scheduled for October 26th. It unfortunately is not free. It does cost $4.50. We're going to Graves Farm. We're going to go through the corn maze, and Graves is going to let the kids go through their pumpkin patch and pick out a pumpkin to take home. So I do need the permission slip and the money turned in by October 25th. So again, field trip is on the 26th. Permission slip and money need to be turned in that day before, so on the 25th. Spelling words for the week. Hopefully you can see those. I'm sorry if it's blurry. Trying my best. Okay. All right, the reading. So reading test last week was pretty rigorous. It was pretty crazy. I know that a lot of the kids were pretty disappointed in their grades. They did amazing. A lot of them, the majority of them, really took their time. They read every single question. They took their time on their answers. They double checked their answers. They really did good. The reason why those scores aren't as high as what they normally are is because we're trying to prepare them for PARCC, for that standardized test that's in April. So the bar is set super high. And so in order to set them up for success, we need to make those tests that they do have very rigorous to where they're used to that caliber of work. So yes, the test scores were not that great. It's okay. We'll work on it. I have no doubt that they're going to improve throughout the year. The grades that were recorded in the grade book are not the grade that they made. I scored on a curve. So I think on average for the math and the reading test, there was about a 20-point curve on each of those. So if you have any questions as to what grade your child got on the test and what grade was recorded, just message me on Class Dojo and I'll email you those scores. We are going to be reviewing that test this week in class. A lot of the kids had trouble with their written responses. So in first and second grade, a written response is considered good and A+ if it's just one complete sentence. In third grade, we're raising that bar to at least 3 or 4 sentences for a good sound written response. So we're going to be using the acronym RACE. So RACE is RACE. It stands for restating the question, answering the question, citing evidence from the text, and explaining your answer or explaining your reasoning. So a lot of the kids were having trouble with that. We're going to really work hard on restating the question and putting it in a complete sentence, and then citing evidence from the text, actually going back through and saying, well, in paragraph 3, it states, and then going on to explain further using more details from the text. In math, we're still doing our multiplication timed tests on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so 3 times a week. The best way to prepare for those is flashcards. A lot of the kids are trying to get away with not studying, and they're trying to use posters around the room, and they're trying to use their math journals for the test. And honestly, there's so many questions on that test that the only way that they can get through that timed test is if they memorize the answers. So in order to memorize them, the best way is that tried and true method of flashcards. If they need index cards or anything, just let them know to ask me tomorrow. I have a whole stack of index cards at school. I'd be more than happy to hand out a few for them to make flashcards to study with at home. So we are still working on multiplication. We're going to start talking about division. We're not going to get into it very, too heavy, but we are going to start talking about the concept of division. We're going to keep doing the regrouping with addition and subtraction, and we're going to start fractions this week. I think that's about it for academics. The only other thing I wanted to talk about before I let y'all go is first I have an amazing class this year. They really are a great group of kids. I love every one of them. I think they're awesome. They're a lot of fun. They're funny, but I think we're just out of that honeymoon phase. They're starting to get used to one another. They're starting to get used to me. So they're starting to push those boundaries. There has been an increase in arguing and talking during a lesson and being disrespectful and talking back. I know that a few weeks ago we talked about the classroom dollars and the system we have set up where they get paid for hard work and showing respect and kindness to others. And then they also get fined, just like adults, just like we do in the real world. We get paid for hard work and we get fined for not following the rules. It's the same way in the classroom, or that's the way I have it set up, is just a classroom economy where you're held accountable for your actions and you're free to make the choice, but you're not free from the consequences. And so there's a lot of kids that are getting very frustrated with that system because they're having a hard time being respectful to one another, using kind words, following directions, being respectful to me, and then fighting. It seems like there's the fighting and arguing is getting pretty bad. I do try to do conferences out in the hallway, just me and the student that they're arguing with, trying to get some common ground, trying to hash it out and talk it out. We've tried apology letters to one another. We've tried timeouts. We've tried classroom fines where they have to pay, some of their classroom money as a fine for being disrespectful or for fighting. There's been a few parent phone calls and there's been a few office referrals, but it doesn't seem to be helping any. And so that's where I kind of just wanted to let y'all know that it is becoming an issue. That way the students can know that, you and me and them, like we're all on the same page. We all have the same expectations. And like I said, I really do have an amazing group of kids. I just love them and they're so much fun, but they're also very competitive. And so, it's kind of hard to deal with all of those really big personalities whenever I have 26 students in the room and we are trying to get so much done within one day. And recess detention has been implemented a few times, but I hate taking recess away because I feel like they need that time to run around and get all that energy out. So I only take recess away in extreme cases. But if you have any questions or any concerns, or if you even want to just know if maybe your child is any part of that, feel free to message me on Class Dojo or call me at the school and I'd be happy to talk to you about it because, like I said, I have an amazing group of kids and we're to the point where they're in third grade. We could be doing a lot of fun activities. We could be doing science experiments and a lot of really cool field trips. But the discipline and the behavior and the talking, we all have to be on the same page and it has to get under control in order for us to get to all of that fun stuff. So again, if you have any questions or concerns, just call me or message me on Class Dojo. Okay?